Dr. Rapaport, good morning.
John, good morning.
So you and I were at a very special dinner Thursday night. We were seated at a large table, a couple people we didn't know, and I was sitting next to a woman, maybe late 50s, and we were talking, getting to know each other. You were sitting across from me, and she asked me what you do. And I said, dermatology professor in Beverly Hills, very well known, early pioneer in SPF ratings for sunscreen, lip injections, did all that research on silicone implants, kind of a storied career, but his noteworthy achievement is he's developed this notion of topical steroid addiction and withdrawal. And she said to me, "What's that?" I said, "Well, I don't want to ruin your dinner, but going in a lot of detail, but essentially it means the continual use of topical steroids, which leads to addiction, which presents itself at eczema, and then that gets continually treated." And the woman says, "Oh my God." And she sets down her fork, and she looks at me and says, "Tell me more about it." And I started talking to you, and I introduced you, and for lack of a better word, she started crying. I mean, we're at this dinner, and her granddaughter has been to every dermatologist. I'm expanding, but she's been to numerous dermatologists in Connecticut, and all of a sudden she's got an answer that sounds viable to her. And it was just interesting to see that entire cycle of knowing nothing about it to knowing what topical steroid addiction is and having it hit this woman like a ton of bricks that, my God, this is my granddaughter's problem.
Well, as you're talking, I'm making up some thoughts. The first thought, the absolute first thought that we must relay repeatedly in these conversations is the commonness of eczema, the commonness of continual chronic applications of topical steroids for chronic things like eczema, psoriasis, seborrhea, and several other contact dermatitis problems, but mostly eczema. So common, coupled with the commonness of asthma, which they can be inherited by the same person. And we'll get into later about the drugs that have been discovered for eczema. Now they're being used in asthma. Dupixent, eczema, cure. They never use the word cure because it doesn't. This is a new drug. You got to buy it. Oh, we're also doing studies, and oh, by the way, we have advertisements on the 6 o'clock news, national news, about the value of Dupixent in asthma. So another common entity that affects a huge portion of our population.
Every single person watching this video has someone in their life that's dealing with something that has been defined by their physician as chronic eczema. Yeah. Every single one.
Yeah, I know. And this harmless thing called steroids, allowed to be sold over the counter in a weak strength by the FDA about 30 years ago, and with good reason. Every damn thing that might help, every drug or cream or medicine that might help and not really cause harm to patients and stopping them from having to go to doctors for everything, became over the counter and available. Topical steroids, hydrocortisone, 1%, 2%, something like that. Well, you use that chronically. May I?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ask about you?
Yeah. I did.
What did you use?
Kirkland over-the-counter topical hydrocortisone.
Yeah. It took a long time for you to show the addiction, but it was there sooner or later. It didn't matter about the strength. Clobetasol within a few days. Hydrocortisone week, probably 6 months to a year.
They sell them in a pack of 5 at Costco.
5?
5 tubes. I'm still, when I move something, I'm still finding I'm like a drunk that's got a bottle of vodka hidden in every nook and cranny of the house. I'm finding them everywhere.
You needed them.
Yeah.
Terribly. You panicked if you didn't find them. That's called addiction. And quietly done, and they do not share with their family or with anybody.
Wow.
That's sad. And it's just me. My doctor said I'm going to have this the rest of my life. I'm going to have asthma the rest of my life. I'll have to suffer, but I know I can't lick it, but I'm going to find the best drug possible. Ooh, I can't get the strong one. I'll figure out a way of finding that strong one. Oh, I'm not supposed to do this. I'll do it anyway because it's the only thing that makes me live, allows me to live, etc., etc. Therein lies the sadness. And it's because of the availability of these preparations and the huge amount of human beings involved. Not in America, in the world. In the world. My computer just bursts with people from around the world.
I think we just had another one come in. I just heard it.
Yeah. So that's one answer for you. You were asking, I forgot what you asked, but I basically think the first thing was, how do we know you should see Rapaport or somebody of that ilk or whatever? So, number one, there are many, many, many people. Two, how do you tell a non-believer or somebody who just really doesn't know much about medicine that what you're doing is wrong? What are you talking about? It would be their first fallback or their first comment. What do you mean? I've been using the wrong stuff. My doctor gave me this. And I like my doctor. Well, doctors can prescribe the wrong things. Chronic usage of many drugs can cause side effects. All drugs have the ability to cause side effects, etc., etc., etc. And just because it seems to be working doesn't mean it's not a problem preparation or medicine. Don't you understand that? Well, I've tried everything other than steroids and nothing makes my itch go away. Well, we have to reevaluate whether the cortisone is perpetuating it or you really have an underlying problem. So let me tell you what the natural history of eczema is. In the 1930s and 40s, before steroids, they itched in the wintertime. Humidifiers were brought into the room. Antihistamines were taken. They took them to the beach and sunshine in the summer, and the eczema vanished with sunshine. Vanished. Maybe to come back again when they're 3, 4, 7 in the winter, and then summer sun again, vanished. Period. I'm not making that up.
Well, and that's really what made her start crying when you said that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. Well, not interesting.
That
expected.
That evocation of an emotion like that is really deep when you think about it. She has been pent up, and she told you. I was across the table, so I didn't hear everything. But she told you. She's been thinking about this grandchild for a long time.
Well, and the other mitigating factor is the son-in-law is very machismo, a strong presence in the family, probably would not appreciate her meddling, anything like that. But she did say that she was an accountant and her personal time off, every day of it was spent taking this baby to dermatologists and seeking therapies and things like that. Incredible.
How can so many doctors, after I've written papers for 35 years and lectured, and all of this in the last 3 years, films, YouTubes, how can so many doctors still say bad eczema and still give stronger steroids?
She said to me, oh my God, now, this is amazing. What do I do? And I said, you just did it. She goes, what do you mean? I said, you met Dr. Rapaport, it's over.
Do I have to go to more dinners, that means?
No, you got to go to Connecticut. All right, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you all for watching.